do you also feel that after the show that came out, there were a lot of people who started having an adverse effect towards the Mumbai girls? Because, there was this one woman standing here representing Delhi, going all saying that, I don't want to have any ego because it'll trouble my skin. Or the fact that, I don't have anything to contribute to, any kind of gossip. So, did you see?
So see, Shalini as a person, what you see on the show is actually how she is. Our reaction would be like, is she for real? You know, I mean, like, really? She's a lovely girl. It's just that, her personality is unique.
Who among the four of y'all is actually acting a little bit that you feel that शायद ये कैमरा के लिए थोड़ा ज़्यादा कर रही है, real life में नहीं है?
I don't think anyone.
Yeah.
Because Seema, what you see of her, she is that. Maheep, I mean, the profanities don't stop
Have you
ever.
learned any abusive language from her? Are you ready to say them on camera?
Listen, she hasn't taught me. I mean, I knew of those words.
But she does force you to say it, right?
She insists that if you say it, you will be liberated.
Was it challenging for you to, speak about your past?
Yes, it is very difficult. Like you said, I spoke about a phase of my life and I put it out there, and it was very difficult. I was not comfortable, but I said, I think this may just help a lot of women out there who probably have gone through this or are going through this. Just for the record, I think everyone needs to know that I was born and brought up in Hong Kong, and I lived in Hong Kong. I did my schooling there, hence the accent. It's a different story why the accent hasn't gone after so many years. Now that I don't know. Hi, this is Neelam Kothari Soni, and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama.
She's fabulous. We love her. We love every bit of her. Of course, known as the Barbie doll of Indian cinema. Please welcome Neelam Kothari Soni.
Thank you. You call me a Barbie doll.
You know that, right? You know that, right? You've known to be the Indian Barbie doll of cinema.
Yeah, I think because I started young, and I think because my dancing style, I used to dance on my toes. So I think that's why I was called the Barbie doll.
But it's so good to see you. I mean,
Thank
I don't
you.
think if I had ever imagined to sit across this beautiful pink Barbie doll special table with you, have a chat, ये कभी मैंने सोचा नहीं था. I'm really glad that we are talking here, and I know you even better because of Fabulous Lives. So please start by telling me that how did it all begin? Were there any apprehensions when you were approached for the show?
Yes, there were many apprehensions because, I mean, it's a show which is very, very intrusive in the sense it covers your life.
Yeah.
It covers you. It covers your family, your personality, what makes you tick, what upsets you, everything. It's out there, and the camera doesn't lie, and the camera picks up everything. So initially I was very, very, very scared, to take this on, and I was apprehensive. I mean, to cut a long story short, Karan just said that, look, if you're going to do this, you got to give it your 100%.
Oh.
And Sameer also told me, he said, you know what, just go with the flow, just be yourself and own it, and just enjoy the process.
But were there any pointers that you were sure that this part of my life I wouldn't want to discuss or highlight or anything, or
I think all of us before we started season 1, yes, I think there were certain topics that each one of us had and said that, okay, these are things which are off the table. So I think, yes, that process did happen. We had multiple meetings about this, and listen, I trust Karan, I trust Dharma. I mean, if it was anyone else doing a reality show, I don't think I would have had so much confidence in what they would keep, what they would cut. That way we all of us, the four of us, we trust them a lot.
We're in the third season, and it definitely was one of the most entertaining one. Of course, because of the Delhi Mumbai fight and everything that happened, and Shalini being the main highlight. I don't think we can say Shalini and not smile, because she definitely was a personality to look forward to. But do you also feel that after the show that came out, there were a lot of people who started having an adverse effect towards the Mumbai girls? Because there was this one woman standing here representing Delhi, going all saying that I don't want to have any ego because it'll trouble my skin. Or the fact that I don't have anything to contribute to any kind of gossip. So did you see?
So see, Shalini as a person, what you see on the show is actually how she is. So you can imagine how our reactions would be. Okay, like our reaction would be like, is she for real? You know? I mean, like, really? She's a lovely girl, it's just that, her personality is unique.
Yeah.
And she really went all out. Hats off to her. I mean, the amount of times she changed her costume. We went to her place for tea, and she was doing her riyaz and
Yeah.
everything. And then she said, I'm changing my clothes and I'm coming back. But people were like, why? So she does this. She has one event and then she'll change her clothes. Like if there's a party later on, she'll change her clothes and go. I mean, we will just go as is.
Do you think that's a very Delhi culture, or it was just a Shalini thing?
See, Delhi does make that. Definitely, they make more of an effort to dress up when they're going out. I mean, like in Bombay, I'm happy with just wearing my sneakers and my ripped jeans and a sweatshirt. I'm very happy going out like that. But in Delhi, yes, definitely. They do make an effort. And before, when we signed up for the show, the stylist would say, I'd say, okay, we're going jogging in the morning to that park.
The park,
The
yeah.
park. I said, just give me like track pants and a sweatshirt or a hoodie. No, it's Delhi. I'm like, but what do you mean? He made me wear this crop jacket, and I mean, you've seen the episode, right? And I'm like, why would I wear this? I think what happened is this narrative of Delhi being super glam. I think the Bombay girls took it up a notch.
Yeah.
Because thinking, keeping up. But I think, on the show, they really didn't go OTT, and they really weren't that out there, to be honest with you.
You've been quoted the most when you go to Shalini's house the first time and you say, such a big house. What was your reaction when you heard her sing the first time?
We had no idea. Okay, we were told, guys, you're going to Shalini's house, you're going for tea and a chit chat. And there again, the stylist said, you're going to a Delhi person's house, everyone dresses up for coffee and tea. So we were all decked up. Okay, would we dress like that normally? No. Okay, but we were making the effort.
Yeah.
So we entered and Shalini was singing. Okay, we were like, you gave us a time of, reaching there at a certain time. I mean, shouldn't you have finished your riyaz, by the time? Which was fine, lovely.
Yeah.
We got to see her sing and everything. She finished singing and then she just said, guys, sorry, but I'm just going to go up to change. We were like, but Shalini, you're looking great. You're looking fine. Just sit with us. Yeah, so I mean, you saw that scene again. We were sitting there and just sort of like twiddling our thumbs
that was
and waiting.
The most quiet y'all must have ever been. Like, I couldn't understand that how it's still being shot, because it was just like, oh, figuring out, the Raza painting behind, and oh, I've seen this at Tigers. My God, it was so entertaining.
That is just us, okay? You leave us alone, okay? And you just roll the cameras. We will have something to say. We will give you some content, okay? So the creatives just told us, sit and wait. So in that sitting and waiting, we were like, okay.
But who among the four of y'all is actually acting a little bit that you feel that शायद ये कैमरा के लिए थोड़ा ज़्यादा कर रही है, real life में नहीं है?
I don't think anyone.
Yeah.
Because Seema, what you see of her, she is that. Maheep, I mean, the profanities don't
Have you
stop
learned
ever.
any abusive language from her? Are you ready to say them on camera?
Listen, she hasn't taught me. I mean, I knew of those
But
words.
she does force you to say it, right?
She insists that if you say it, you will be liberated. I beg to differ. Just let me be. No? I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it.
Now, Neelam, we've been following you for three seasons, and this season had a whole different Neelam Kothari Soni for us because you put your heart out. Was it challenging for you to, speak about your past?
You
Uh,
know, I tell you, reality. Nobody believes this when seven of us, now we've got three more girls added to the cast,
yeah.
and now they also realize that, you know, what we've done in the 2 seasons is not easy.
Hmm.
Okay, we're middle-aged women, okay, putting our lives out there. You know, there are days where you're bloated, you're not feeling great, XYZ. So doing a reality show like this is not easy. It looks fun, it looks great. Of course, we have a lot of fun, but it's also very challenging sometimes. It's overwhelming at times. And yes, it is very difficult. Like you said, I spoke about a phase of my life and I put it out there, and oh, it was very difficult. It was very, very difficult because I am a closed
Yeah.
person, and to discuss certain things, I was not comfortable. But I said, I think this may just help a lot of women out there who probably have gone through this or are going through this. And it's unbelievable the amount of DMs that I got, and saying that hats off to you, and we really look up to you, Neelam, because you've opened up, and to know that even a celebrity can go through this
Yeah.
and be vocal about it. It's commendable, and thank you. So for me, I was deeply touched, and I said, it all, at the end of the day, it all matters on if you make a difference to someone's life.
There's a special reason for it. I think that you've been a very relatable personality
Am
in
I?
everyone's life because the 90s, the 80s, your films have touched people's heart as if, अरे ये तो हमारी नीलम है, ये तो हमारी नीलम है. So what happens is that when
Gosh,
something
I think that's because I've been around a lot.
and if something like this, happens to a family member, uh, you get a little more closer, right? And that's and kudos to you for just not just speaking your heart out, but that moment where you said that you couldn't understand what your identity is and you had to say no to someone who recognized you. I think that was an absolute emotional moment, Neelam, and thank you for sharing that with us.
it
uh,
was it was a hard thing to sort of open up and talk about, but I think now that I've done it, and it's out there. I never spoke about it before. It's out there, and people know about it, and it's done with.
But were you worried that post the show now people are going to start doing a Google search on your photos?
Of course, I'm sure like thousands of people have done it already.
Yeah.
I mean, I expected that. But if I may say so, I think, whatever um, I said with a lot of dignity and grace. Sometimes it's a very thin line over here. When you're talking about your past and it's been an unpleasant situation, it's so easy to sort of tip one way and make it sort of ugly, which I made a conscious effort not to.
Yeah.
It was more about just talking about me, my personality, what I felt and what I went through.
You are an absolutely emotional person. In every season, we have seen you, tear up for so many things, like the smallest and the sweetest thing.
Listen, when I laugh, I cry as well.
Yeah, even when at a party where Sameer shows up and that got you overwhelmed was just so beautiful. Tell us that how did you manage, your cinema life? Were there directors who would shout at you, and how would you deal with them?
I mean, I don't want to take names, I
Yeah.
mean, because they're no more. I mean, be it choreographers who were very, very senior, who were amazing and legends at their work. I mean, when they used to fire me, because my dancing style was very sort of, I was very light on my toes, and I was very sort of, my style was different. It was not that typical filmy style.
Hmm.
So I used to, sometimes I've been yelled at that, थोड़ा ठुमका ज़्यादा लगाओ, I used to get fired. So and I was very young. So I would go to my vanity, not my vanity van, there were no vanity
No
vans.
vanities.
I would go to my makeup room and just howl and howl. Then there would be days where, you have bad days where I could just not remember my dialogues. I've been yelled at for that. Um, Also because I was so young.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it worked in my favor and sometimes against me. So there were some, directors and writers who sort of maybe sort of said an extra thing or two to me and it upset me. But otherwise it worked for my, for my good, because I was like the baby on the set. Everyone used to look after me, and I was, baby ko ye dena, baby ko wo dena. So I was like, okay, cool.
But do you see a difference in, the kind of uh, professionalism that is there now? Because वो आप जो कह रहे हो वो एक ज़माना अलग था जहाँ पर वैनिटी वैन्स entourage वगैरह कोई नहीं था. You would just come to the set.
Listen, if you ask me, I loved working in the 80s and the 90s, because when you worked with the unit, that unit became your family. When you went on an outdoor, in fact, people used to feel sad
Yeah.
that, oh, we're going back home, we'll miss you. It was a different scenario. It was more close knit, it was more simple. Um, there was no social media, there was no stress of how you're looking every day, and the paparazzi. And you know what, it was just very, very different and very simple.
Simpler times, for sure.
Simpler times. Now it's very sort of, it's great, it's very organized, it's very corporate, you go by the book. So it's completely different now.
But
One thing I must say, what is very nice nowadays is to see a lot more women on the set.
oh, lovely.
Yeah, earlier, it was just me, my hairstylist, and probably my mom or my Masi
Oh.
who was accompanying me. And if
Would
there
that
was
get
another,
uncomfortable at times?
it wasn't
Especially.
uncomfortable, no. But it's just that now it's great to see that there are women writers, directors,
Yeah.
Artists.
Yeah.
Women. I mean, I'm talking about makeup artists and hairstylists, and
There's
it's
also
it's just
intimacy
great.
coordinators who are there on sets as well. Isn't
Yeah.
that interesting?
Yeah.
Why the laugh?
No, because I've been through that. So yeah, it's great to see a lot more women on set. And
Tell
part
us,
of this
when you say you've been through that, what does that mean?
in season 2, I had that whole scene with that.
Yeah, okay, got it
Yeah,
now.
I had that whole scene where she made me chew channas, and if you know what I mean.
I'm telling you, this show has brought a whole different Neelam into our lives. We're like, अरे ये ऐसी नहीं है, ये ऐसी है. It's amazing, and it's like meeting a friend who's got a great accent.
Listen, I haven't heard the end of my accent. I think, just for the record, I think everyone needs to know that I was born and brought up in Hong Kong, and I lived in Hong Kong. I did my schooling there, hence the accent. It's a different story why the accent hasn't gone
Yeah.
after so many years. Now that I don't know.
Can you tell everyone like watching this right now that before we were starting, what was the line that you just said
Geun-
in an accent?
I said Geuntak.
Look at that, Geuntak. She didn't say Geuntak. She's like Geuntak.
Only you noticed that.
आपके favorite co-stars कौन थे in that time? Like Chunky Pandey, Govinda. You worked with so many of them. Who did you enjoy the most with? Ki he's on set, I'm happy.
So when I was shooting with Chunky, he was my favorite co-star. When I was working with Govinda, he was my favorite. If it was Jackie Da, he was my favorite. I mean, each one, I'm not sitting on the fence here.
Yeah.
Each one had their different qualities and, great qualities. I mean, there were days where I'd be shooting with Chunky, and one minute he'd make me laugh, and the other minute he'd make me cry. I would want to kill him.
Yeah, we heard about the incident.
Many stories, yes. With Chunky, there are many stories. Yeah, so I think each co-star has had different they've got different qualities which you appreciate. Like that, Jackie Dada used to treat me like a kid. He always used to look after me and look out for me. And recently we did a music video together. And even there, he was looking after me, making sure that I had my food, making sure I was looked after at the airport. He was amazing. I said, Dada, now I'm 50 plus. I can look after myself. No. You're still the baby.
Is there a film in your filmography, one that you're most proud of, and one that if you watch again, you might feel cringe-worthy?
There are many. Cringe-worthy. Like, there are some films which I haven't watched. Okay. And now, I mean, don't ask me the names.
Of course,
and
you don't know the names.
now when I see them on TV, I'm like, hey, Bhagavan, did I actually do that? Did I actually wear this? Oh my God. So there were many, to be honest with you. Favorite films, I think there's a film I did with Salman, which was called Ek Ladka Ek Ladki,
Yeah.
which was a very sweet film. It didn't do that well, unfortunately, but it was a very, very sweet film. We had great fun shooting it, and it was a different kind of character. It was fun, great fun.
Just like Bollywood Hungama has completed 25 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Hum Saath Saath Hai also completes 25 years.
25 years.
5th of November, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
What memories do you have of this film?
It was great fun working for the film because ek to working with Suraj ji was like a dream come true. I always wanted to work with him, and he's so down to earth and so humble. I've never worked with anyone like him. So such a big name and so down to earth. And I think because the cast was so humongous.
Yeah.
Of the film, like in any given shot, there were at least 7-8 artists. So we actually had a blast. It was so much fun because there was Saif, there was Salman. I actually made, real friendship bonds in from the industry during this film, like with Sonali and Tabu and Lolo. So, I mean, we're still friends today. We still meet up, and, so yeah, I think I made, true bonds during this film.
You are still known for the Neelam show, and it feels like, as if the Neelam show was part of like your personality. You would do something outside and it was just part of Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. Have you heard about these things?
So I told Karan one thing, okay? Thanks to Karan Johar, he has always made me relevant. When I did Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, I had left the industry. I wasn't doing films.
Yeah.
So he said, no, Neelam, it's a cameo role. You're playing yourself. It'll be really fun, really cool, and very today, in those days,
Yeah.
very today. And I want to tell you, the youngsters, recognize me because of Kuch Kuch Hota Hai and the Neelam show. So, I mean, thanks to Karan. And today I'm relevant because of Bollywood Wives, thanks to Karan. So I keep on telling him, I said, you're the one, thanks to you, over the years, I've been relevant. Hi, this is Neelam Kothari Soni, and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama.